In English, there's a phrase, tilting at windmills. It means fighting a battle you can never win. People use it all the time, even today.
Where does it come from?
One book, written over 400 years ago, Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes.
That's Spanish, right?
Yes, published in 1605, the most translated novel ever.
More than Shakespeare.
More translated, second only to the Bible. And the author, a soldier who lost his left hand in battle. He planned this story while sitting in a prison cell.
In prison?
From that cell, he imagined a crazy old man in Spain. A man who read night stories until his mind broke. He put on rusty armor, named his skinny old horse, and rode out to fight giants that didn't exist.
That sounds sad.
It's the funniest book ever written, and the saddest. Let's go back to La Mancha. This is where it starts.
In a small village in La Mancha, Spain, there lived an old man. His name was Alonso Quixano, thin, tall, with tired eyes. He had one great love, books about brave knights. Knights who fought dragons and rescued princesses. He read them morning, noon, and night. He sold his land just to buy more. Then one day, something broke inside his mind. The stories became real. The real world disappeared. He found rusty old armor and put it on. He named his horse Rocinante and himself Don Quixote de la Mancha. Don Quixote rode out at dawn full of hope. He came upon a dirty roadside inn, but he saw a grand castle with towers in the sky. He called the innkeeper my lord and asked to be knighted. The innkeeper stared at this old fool in cardboard armor, but instead of turning him away, he played along. That night he tapped Don Quixote's shoulder with a sword. Don Quixote knelt with tears in his eyes. He believed every word. He rode away the next morning, proud and tall. Nobody had the heart to tell him the truth. Every great knight needs a loyal companion. Don Quixote found one, his neighbor, Sancho Panza. Sancho was short, round, and loved common sense. Come with me, I'll make you governor of an island. Sancho didn't believe in giants or enchanted castles. But governor of an island? That sounded real. He climbed on his donkey and followed the knight. Don Quixote saw monsters in every shadow. Sancho saw the world as it was, dusty and hard. The dreamer and the realist riding side by side. They came upon a plain covered with windmills, 30 or 40, turning slowly in the wind. Look, Sancho, 30 giants, I shall fight them all. Master, sir, Sancho cried, those are windmills. But Don Quixote was already charging. He lowered his lance and rode straight at the nearest one. The wooden arm caught him and threw him to the ground. I told you, Sancho ran to help. A wicked enchanter turned those giants into windmills, he said calmly. He climbed back on his horse and rode on. That scene gave the world a famous phrase, tilting at windmills. The beatings kept coming, but so did the dreams. One afternoon, a great cloud of dust rose ahead. An army, Don Quixote shouted. Sancho squinted. Master, those are sheep. Don Quixote drew his sword and charged into the flock. The shepherds threw stones. Several of his teeth broke. His face was bloody. His armor was dented and cracked. But the more the world beat him, the stronger his dream grew. Pain could not touch it. Reality could not break it. Then came the day that surprised everyone. They met a cart carrying 2 real lions in iron cages. Don Quixote ordered the keeper to open the cage. "Are you insane?" the keeper shouted. Everyone ran. But Don Quixote stood firm. He drew his sword. The keeper opened the door with trembling hands. The lion stepped out, stretched, yawned, and lay back down. Don Quixote declared victory. The others laughed. But the lion was real. The danger was real. And he was the only one who did not run. His courage surprised them, but his love surprised them more. At the center of everything was a woman, Dulcinea. In truth, she was a farm girl named Aldonza. She had no idea Don Quixote existed. But in his mind, she was the most beautiful woman alive. In the mountains, he wept and wrote poetry for her. "She doesn't even know you," Sancho said. "That makes my love even purer," Don Quixote replied. A man weeping on a mountain for a woman who would never know. Was this madness, or the most honest kind of love? Every dream must end. A young man named Sanson dressed up as a rival knight. He challenged Don Quixote. The loser must go home. They fought. Don Quixote fell from his horse. He kept his word and rode home in silence. Back in his village, he fell ill with the fever. When he opened his eyes, the madness was gone. "I am no longer Don Quixote," he said quietly. "I am Alonso Quixano. Those night stories were all lies." Sancho rushed to his side, crying, "Don't die, master. Let's go on one more adventure, please." But Alonso Quixano closed his eyes, and he was gone. The moment he woke from his dream was the moment he died.
Wow, that ending.
He woke up and just died.
Right, let's go back to the beginning. An old man reads too many books. His mind breaks. But Cervantes is doing something deeper here.
What do you mean?
The books were all about chivalry.
Chivalry, like holding doors for people?
Bigger, a whole code, honor, bravery, protecting the weak. Don Quixote read those books and thought, why not live that way?
But the world doesn't work like that.
Exactly, but the craziest part, still coming. Then the innkeeper scene, a fake ceremony. But Don Quixote knelt with real tears.
So the joke was on the innkeeper, not on him.
Because belief can be more real than truth. And then comes Sancho, the best character in the book.
A farmer on a donkey following a madman.
Don Quixote calls him his squire.
Squire?
A knight's helper, his companion on the road.
I'd be a great squire.
You'd quit after one windmill.
Here's what makes this pair work. One sees giants, the other sees windmills. They argue about everything, but never leave each other.
So Sancho only stayed for the island reward, right?
At first, yes, but he grew to love his master. How he shows that at the very end, we'll get there. The dreamer and the realist, greatest pair in any book. Now, the most famous scene ever written. 30 windmills, he sees 30 giants.
Sancho was right there shouting, "Those are windmills."
Didn't matter, he charged. Got thrown to the ground, blamed an enchanter.
Enchanter?
A wizard, someone who uses dark magic. That scene gave English a famous phrase. Tilting at windmills, chasing a battle that isn't real.
So it just means being crazy?
Not exactly. fighting for something impossible. Sometimes foolish, sometimes brave. That's the beauty.
400 years and people still say it.
After that, he charged a flock of sheep, lost his teeth.
The more it hurt, the harder he believed.
But the bravest thing, that's still coming. Imagine this, a real lion in a cage right before you. Everyone runs, you draw your sword, and stay.
The lion was real this time.
So was he insane or actually brave?
Cervantes never tells you. That's the genius of this book. And then there's Dulcinea.
The love of his life.
In reality, a farm girl named Aldonza. She had no idea he existed.
He loved someone who didn't even know him?
In his mind, she was the most beautiful woman alive. He did penance for her in the mountains.
Penance?
Suffering on purpose to show your devotion.
Devotion, that sounds intense.
Deep, loyal love, the kind that asks for nothing back. He wept and wrote poetry on a mountaintop.
For someone who would never read it.
So Dulcinea was imaginary. She didn't really matter.
She mattered the most. That's Cervantes' whole point. Love doesn't need to be returned to be real.
And then that ending.
Sanson challenged him to a duel.
Duel?
A one-on-one fight. The loser goes home. Don Quixote lost, rode home in silence. Then came the fever. When it broke, the madness was gone.
How does a delusion just disappear like that?
He said, I am Alonso Quixano. Those stories were lies.
So he got his sanity back.
Sanity, seeing the world as it really is. But here's what breaks your heart. Sancho ran to him, crying, Don't die, one more adventure.
He didn't want his master to wake up.
But Alonso Quixano closed his eyes, and he was gone.
The moment he woke up was the moment he died.
Remember how we started? Tilting at windmills. A man who lived by chivalry when the world had forgotten it. He stood before a real lion and didn't run. He loved with a devotion that asked for nothing back.
Everyone laughed, but his squire cried at the end.
Because the dream was worth more than sanity. What's your windmill? What do you fight for anyway?
Tell us. We'd love to hear your story.